Before smartphones, the internet, or even electricity, how did we survive, stay safe, and have the best childhood ever? Let's step back into the lost paradise of 1980s Philippine province life. The dawn in a 1980s Philippine province does not arrive with the blare of an electronic alarm, but with a symphony of nature and human grit. Long before the sun peaks over the horizon, the cool, mist-heavy air is pierced by the sharp crowing of roosters, the distant barking of neighborhood dogs, and the rhythmic swish-slap echoing from the living room. It is the distinct sound of a coconut husk, the bunot, pressed under your mother's foot. With every synchronized swing of her leg, she glides across the slatted mahogany floor, buffing the red wax until you can see your reflection in the wood, while a neighbor outside sweeps fallen leaves with a Wally's ting-ting. You wake up inside the cool, safe cocoon of a kulambo, your skin smelling faintly of the off-center mosquito coil that burned down to ashes over a metal bottle cap during the night. The house is dim, illuminated only by the flickering amber glow of a gasera made from an old glass jar. There are no light switches to flip here. Electricity is a luxury that only reaches the town plaza, leaving the barrios to rely on the soft, hissing warmth of kerosene. As you step out of bed, your grandmother quickly reminds you of the morning's first rule. Never sweep the floor at night or at the very crack of dawn, lest you sweep away all the household's good fortune before the day even begins. Outside the window, a familiar, melodic cry echoes through the morning fog. Pandesal. Main it not Pandesal. It is the Pandesal boy, a local teenager working before his own school classes start. He is wearing a faded shirt, shorts, and worn-out rubber slippers, balancing a heavy, cloth-covered wicker basket on his handlebars. You run down the wooden stairs to meet him, handing over a few centavos. In return, you get a small brown paper bag filled with bread so hot it burns your fingertips, crusty on the outside, dusty with breadcrumbs, and perfectly sweet. Breakfast is simple, eaten around a wooden table. There is no electric refrigerator, so everything is fresh or preserved. To get a drink of water, you walk over to the corner of the kitchen where the banga sits. This large, unglazed red clay jar is a miracle of traditional engineering. It naturally filters and cools the water stored inside it. You dip a plastic or coconut shell tabou into its wide mouth and pour yourself a glass. The water tastes distinctively clean, earthy, and shockingly cold, as if it had been chilled in an ice box. But the banga does not fill itself. Before the tropical heat becomes unbearable, the older siblings must complete the morning chore of fetching water. You grab 2 heavy kerosene cans modified with wire handles and head to the patalan, the communal manual water pump at the center of the barrio. Here, the community gathers. You take turns gripping the long, heavy iron lever, pumping it up and down with your entire body weight. Squeak clank, gush. Clear water surges out of the rusty spout. It is hard, back-breaking work that builds muscle, but it is also the social hub of the village. Neighbors exchange local news, crack jokes, and help each other lift the heavy poles balanced across their shoulders to carry the water back home. By 7 a.m., it is time for school. There are no school buses, no tricycles for hire inside the deep dirt roads, and certainly no parental carpools. Children gather in groups, forming a walking convoy across the barrio. You walk miles to the elementary school, your path cutting through dirt roads that turn into thick, sticky mud when it rains, and narrow dikes between vibrant green rice paddies. The long walk is never boring. It is filled with laughter, picking wild guava fruits from trees, and catching grasshoppers. As you walk past the houses of elders, you practice a beautiful, unwritten law of Pinoy culture that is slowly fading today, the mano po. Whenever you see an aunt, an uncle, or a grandfather sitting on their porch, you instinctively bow your head, take their right hand, and gently press the back of their knuckles to your forehead, uttering mano po. In response, they offer a soft smile and a whisper of Pagpalain kaing Dios, God bless you. This gesture isn't forced, it is an automatic outpour of deep reverence and respect. It coexists with other traits like pakikisama, yielding to the group for harmony, and delicadeza, a strict sense of propriety and honor that govern every interaction in the barrio. Around mid-morning, the quiet dirt road comes alive with the creaking sound of wooden wheels. It is the rolling Keratin store, the 1980s provincial version of a mobile convenience store. A wooden cart pushed by a hard-working vendor, or pulled by a carabao, it is packed with everything the barrio needs: brooms, plastic basins, mats, fabric, and jars of colorful native candies. Housewives step out of their gates to negotiate prices, while kids run out with a few centavos to buy a sticky piece of turso, a chewy kandel, or a powdery pulveron wrapped in colorful, delicate Japanese paper that tears the moment you try to open it. By early afternoon, the scorching heat is broken by the distant, echoey sound of a jukebox blaring from the local tindahan. For a single shiny coin, it belts out a melancholic line from Imelda Papin or Eddie Peregrina, mixing seamlessly with the sound of laughter outside. Under the shade of a mango tree, an older sibling is strumming an acoustic guitar, squinting at the tiny chord charts printed in the latest issue of Jingle Song Hits, the pages worn thin from being shared across the entire block. Next to them, another teenager sits on the curb, flipping through a tattered copy of a funny comics, laughing at the slapstick antics of Pugad Baboy or Alawan, completely lost in the ink-stained pages. When the school day ends and the afternoon sun loses its fierce bite, the barrio dirt roads transform into a massive, open-air playground. The children do not retreat to screens, they rush outside, glowing with energy. This is the golden hour of Laruangkalite street games. You gather for a game of Tumbang Preso. An empty tin can of condensed milk or sardines is placed upright inside a drawn circle. One kid stands as the guard Taya while the rest line up several meters away, armed with their trusty pamato, heavy, flat stones worn smooth by the river. With a sharp throw, a stone flies through the air, clanging loudly against the tin can, sending it flying. The children erupt into cheers, rushing to retrieve their stones while the guard frantically scrambles to put the can back up. Right after, the game shifts to Matayataya tag, or a frantic game of patintero where parallel lines are drawn in the dust using water. Down the dusty street, another group is intensely focused on jolens marbles and teks, tiny, cardboard comic strip cards. With a dramatic, synchronized slap of the hands, the teks cards fly into the air. Heads turn as they fall. Whoever's card lands face up claims the prize, adding to a rubber-banded stack hidden proudly in their pocket. If you didn't have teks, you made do with what was free, Tansan bottle caps. You hammered them flat with a large rock, poked 2 holes through the center, threaded a piece of nylon string, and suddenly you had a buzzing, spinning musical toy that could cut through the air. You scrape your knees on the gravel, wipe the sweat from your brow with the back of a dusty hand, and completely forget about the time. But as you play near the large, old duhat tree at the edge of the field, a ball rolls into the thick bushes. Before you run in to grab it, you automatically freeze and call out, "Tabi tabi po, makikiran lang po." You mutter this apology to the invisible Nuno sa Punso ancestral mound dwellers, or spirits residing in the earth, terrified that stepping on their home without permission will cause your feet to swell or give you a sudden, unexplained fever that no modern medicine can cure. As the sky turns into a breathtaking canvas of deep orange, purple, and crimson, the church bells in the distant town plaza begin to toll for the Angelus at 6 p.m. Instantly, as if an invisible switch has been flipped, the playing stops. The chaotic shouts die down. There is a sacred rule in the 1980s province: when the Angelus rings, you must be inside the house. You say goodbye to your friends, run home, and gather around the family altar or the kitchen table to pray together. When Holy Week arrives, this communal devotion runs even deeper. The playful afternoon shouts die down entirely for days, replaced by the hypnotic, hunting drone of the Lenten Padasal Pasyon. From a nearby makeshift altar, the elders take turns singing the life and passion of Christ in a continuous, mournful chant that echoes through the humid night air, a communal vigil that binds the entire street together. Dinner is a manifestation of bayanihan and community sharing. If a neighbor caught a surplus of fish from the river or harvested extra vegetables from their backyard plot, a bowl of it would inevitably find its way to your table, carried by a child saying, "Sabi po ni nanay, ulam neo ra po." You eat by the gentle, whispering light of the gasera, the darkness outside thick and absolute, alive only with the rhythmic chirping of crickets and the deep croaking of bullfrogs from the nearby fields. After dinner, before bedtime, the family gathers on the slatted bamboo porch or kitchen extension, batalan. The air is cool, carrying the sweet scent of night-blooming jasmine and the earthy smell of the damp soil. There are no television shows to distract you, no notifications to check. Instead, you listen to the elders tell stories, tales of old folklore and the terrifying creatures that roam the provincial darkness. Your grandfather lowers his voice, pointing toward the dark canopy of the nearby banana trees. He warns you never to look out the window if you hear a faint, distant tick-tick, tick-tick sound in the dead of night. The softer and further away the sound is, the closer the aswang or manananggal actually is to your roof, hunting for its next victim. If you ever find yourself afflicted with a strange ailment after playing outside, you don't go to a clinic. The family calls for the local albulario herbal healer who uses warm coconut oil, banana leaves, and whispered prayers to diagnose an USOG or batty, a spiritual discomfort caused by an unintended compliment from a stranger. To counter it, you remember being told to always say bygone or spit lightly on your stomach to break the hex. You finally prepare to fall asleep on a woven banag mat laid out on the wooden floor, the air circulating from beneath the bamboo slats. Before you lie down, your mother reminds you never to go to sleep with wet hair, warning that you will wake up blind or lose your mind by morning. You dry your hair thoroughly, pull the kulambo tight around the edges of the mat, and slip beneath the sheets. As your eyes grow heavy, you feel a profound sense of safety, belonging, and peace. It was a life of material scarcity, where water required muscle and light required oil, but it was a life bound tight by deep respect, folklore, community, and an unhurried appreciation for the simple act of being together. If this video brought back fond memories, or made you appreciate how simple yet beautiful life used to be, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to ring the notification bell so you never miss our next trip down memory lane. Let me know in the comments below, what is the one provincial childhood tradition you miss the most?